If this video pushes you to become 1% better today, subscribe because I upload powerful motivational speeches every week.
If life is a long journey of self-acceptance, I think the earlier you can accept your own peculiarities as just part of you, rather than trying to justify them or mold to the archetype that you think is acceptable within your social circle. At least for me, like there's this period of discomfort when you change anything because everyone around you wants you to fit within the label that they are comfortable with.
But they also have the anchor of what you were before.
Yeah, exactly. And so they try and people don't like that. And so they're like, no, I like you in this box. So just say, I know you're having a little thing right now. Don't worry, and they just want to shove you back into it. And there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that you have to have where it becomes really socially awkward. And so like I said one the other day about like going home for the holidays, and the reason I don't like doing it is because often I have to confront a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, and they'll speak to me in a way that I don't like. And before that I would roll it off like whatever, no big deal, but I don't accept that.
Consistency is the rarest of traits. And I think the reason it is so rare is because you cannot observe it without at least having some level of consistency. Think about that for a second. How can you observe consistency? It's very hard to do, right? You can't see somebody coming, like you have to be at the gym every day to see someone at the gym every day. Which is why like when people come to acquisition.com, all of a sudden they get this gigantic boost in their skill set, their productivity, their output, because they're around everyone. Like when you show up at acquisition.com at 5:30 in the morning, the parking lot's full. Like we're here to win, not play. We want to win. And so I think I would ask yourself the question, if I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that if I could do 100 times more than I'm currently doing, I would hit the goals that I have. Then I would then ask the question, great, what resources are required? And then following up to that, is it worth it? And if the answer is yes, what's stopping you? Winners write history. But here's the cool part, is that if you win and when you win, you get to have a revisionist history of your own life. Like you can basically rewrite your own history so that you can make it whatever you want.
You can define commitment by eliminating alternatives. So if you're committed, you've eliminated alternative actions. Right? Like you can say I'm committed, but until you eliminate other options, you're not committed.
There's always a get out of jail free card.
Right. And so a lot of people make decisions to end relationships, to quit their job, to start the new thing, but they don't become committed to the decision until they remove the other options. And then you're forced to take action on it. And so I think actually defining those two different things. Now you could define, decision as to kill off, like decadere from Latin, but from a colloquial thing, I think there are two different instances. It's like, I need to change this, and then I do change it. And the making the decision is when it becomes a commitment.
It's not about the resources you have, it's about how resourceful you're willing to be. Right now, getting started is 100% under your control. And I love taking this frame, which is that every self-made billionaire is self-made. Now, if you're like, wait, there are billionaires who aren't self-made. Right, that's why I didn't say all billionaires. Every self-made billionaire is self-made. And every self-made millionaire is self-made. And here's the one people hate. Every self-made person in poverty is self-made. Now, that may make you feel uncomfortable. And you know what? You may be right. You probably did have more disadvantages. You probably did have things that worked against you. And now what? You're right. So that's it then for you. The rest of your life will never go the way you want it to go. The harsh truth here is, if you want to feel better, blame others. If you want to get better, blame yourself.
You have to learn the skills to become successful. And oftentimes learning those skills is painful because you don't know the skills when you're trying to learn them, and mistakes hurt. And so I think there's just a huge amount of skills that you have to learn in order to be successful. And if we define success as material success for business at least, then it's just, there's so many things you have to learn. It's very hard to learn them scar-free. Nothing great was ever achieved by people who tried to be great at all things. And so I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna, I might not have a great relationship for a long period of time. I mean, there was, like, a lot of people don't know this, but in the early days of our relationship, even when we were married, I told Leia, so the first 3 years, I said the business comes before our marriage. So a lot of people don't know that. And I was like, well, to me, it made sense. It was like, most people break up over money. The business makes money, so the business feeds us, and then we will be okay. That was kind of my thinking around it. And we eventually flipped that and said, like, if we're good, the business will be fine. But it took 3 years to get there. But all that to say, like, I think having periods of imbalance, and maybe, to be fair, if I hadn't had that priority at that time, maybe Gym Launch wouldn't have been what it became. And so I can't look back and say, like, I should have done it different, because it's really easy to say that now. But, like, I might not be here to say that if I had been that way. So I spent 5 years building a chain of gyms. So I had 6 locations. And after that, I sold 5 of them. I shut one down. And then I transitioned to doing turnarounds. In the transition between shutting my gyms down, I got a big payday because I sold my 5 gyms. Big for me, relative. I took all that money and I put it into the next thing. The partner that I had in that next thing ended up taking the money and disappearing, filing bankruptcy, and sending it to his girlfriend in Sweden. I couldn't make this up. So there was no way I could get the money back, and he had filed bankruptcy. So there's no course of action for a lawsuit. And so a lot of people would probably go through that mental situation and think, and I went through this, was thinking, I just wasted the last 5 years. Like, I literally started a chain, built, like, put everything into the second location, put everything in the third location, the fourth location, the fifth, it kept going, right? I kept doubling down, and then I get my big payday and I put it all on black, and then it disappears with one spin of the roulette. And so here I am, and I'm like, I have nothing to show for the last 5 years of work. But then in the next 12 months, I made more money than I'd ever made in my entire life up to that point. The 5 years, I made more profit the next 12 months than I made in the last 5 years, times like 5. And it was because, and this is I was only able to realize this in retrospect, which is why I'm sharing it, which is that the thing that was the outcome of those 5 years was me and the skills and the experiences that I possessed through going through it. And so whatever the next mountain that you're trying to climb is, of course it's going to be higher, but it's going to require you to go through the smaller mountains to get to that point. So, because the more able you are, the more able you realize you can become. And you will get way bigger outcomes from the things that you had, like the path that led you here, than you think you can. That's why since that moment where I lost everything, and then I was able to make more in the next 12 months, I realized that no work is wasted, because I am the output of the work, not the outcome. And that was one of the biggest frame shifts for me in never thinking that work is wasted, because the more I work, the bigger my work ethic, the more my work capacity increases.
Do you think that the most successful people in the world became successful and then got disciplined? Or do you think that they became disciplined and then got successful?
Yeah, obviously the latter, yeah.
Correct. Self-belief is overrated. I prefer evidence. One little step. Okay, can I do this thing? Yes, I can. Can I do this thing? Yes, I can. I was riddled with so much uncertainty and self-doubt, especially throughout my 20s, even though I'd ostensibly achieved some success, which made the self-doubt feel even more shameful, right? Because I didn't even have the rampant poverty and like, you know, despondent lifestyle. I had something outwardly that looked like it was sorted, but inwardly felt like I was chronically unconfident of myself. And yeah, that you can really, really break through a lack of confidence by just doing tiny, tiny little things and keeping promises to yourself. And over time, Rogan calls it layers of paint. So each time you just one layer of paint, one layer of paint. And it's so gossamer thin that you never even see it. But then when you turn around after a long enough time, you go, fuck yeah, that's a big pile of paint. And then it's a mountain.
People aren't going to really remember any of the things that I do, and I'm not probably going to remember them either. What does it matter if it's perfect? What does it matter if I should just enjoy it? I should just have fun. The learning comes from the edges is so great, because you think, well, I want things to be smooth. I don't want to face these challenges. I don't want to be in this difficulty. I wish that I didn't have this problem. I wish that this stress wasn't here. And you go, okay, looking back, did any of the development that you care about come from a period where you didn't have problems exactly the same as this, completely akin to whatever it is that you're going through? You go, well, you know, it was the most rapid change that I actually had in my life. And in retrospect, I'm really, really glad for the way that I alchemized this problem into something that was beautiful. You go, okay, so is there any of that energy that you can take from the past and bring to the present and say, I know that I'm going through it, and I know that it sucks, and I know that trying to be pithy and reframing the present moment that is total arse into, oh, well, you know, in the future I'll be great. Like, yes, that sucked, but just that tiny little bit of insight that this challenge that you're going through is a gift to your future self. It is something that in future you will look back on with so much pride and glory, this odd sort of very normal version of glory. You didn't win a battle, you didn't complete a war, you didn't, conquer some new land, but you conquered a part of yourself. You conquered a challenge that may have ended you in one form or another. It may have buried you, or buried somebody else, buried a past version of you that wouldn't have been able to deal with it. And if your negativity that you're thinking about now doesn't matter in 3 months' time, you can't recall it, why waste the moments that you've got, this sort of precious life, this brief sliver of existence in between two eternities of nothing? And problems are a feature of life, not a bug. They are just going to continue coming. You're not going to have a perfectly smooth ocean where nothing gets in your way. And it would be boring if you did. And despite the fact that you have these things in front of you and that the challenges may even increase in size, your capacity to deal with them is going to increase in kind. And anti-fragility is alive and well. So, yeah.
The goal isn't to have the perfect daily routine tomorrow. The goal is to still be winning your daily routine in 50 years' time. If you expand your time horizon sufficiently, you will realize that very, very tiny steps can compound. Make it so small that you can't say no to it. And then what's next? And then what's next? So when I decided that I was going to try and become a more virtuous version of me, I was going to start telling the truth. I was going to have a morning routine. I was going to develop a meditation habit. I was going to read, all of these things that I wanted to do, none of which I did, right? Toward the end of my 20s, none of which I did. All of which are now the foundation of my life. Over, 1,500 meditation sessions and all of the authors on the podcast, et cetera, et cetera. I had to do that one step at a time. I didn't have a stable sleep and wake pattern until COVID, ever in my adult life. I'd never gone to bed and woken up at the same time for 7 days in a row until COVID, because I was running nightlife events, right? So if no matter how difficult the setback is, even if you're a shift worker, you're a nurse, you're a parent, whatever your challenge is, just make the promise to yourself sufficiently small that even with that challenge in front of you, you can make it work. The goal should be for you to be able to perform, whether you're in the middle of a war zone, whether you've not had any sleep, whether you've done whatever, right? That I want to be able to work like this and then build myself off the top of that with, oh, I'm great. I managed to get my morning walk in and I managed to train and I managed to do all the rest of it. But there's a degree of fragility that comes with over-optimization because people no longer feel like they're sufficiently robust to do this stuff.
The Lonely Chapter describes a time in which you're growing, you're changing as a person, and you're now so different that you can no longer resonate with your old set of friends, but you're not sufficiently developed that you've got the new set of friends that you're going to grow into. And this is the Lonely Chapter. And the problem with it is that you're always, the desire to sort of regress back to where you were is always going to be there, and you're going to have uncertainty. There's not even the promise of glory or success or triumph when you get through the other side. What am I pushing toward? You're telling me that I'm not going to go out on this night out with my friends, which I've done for the last 5 years or 10 years in the town that I grew up in or went to university in or whatever. You're telling me that I'm not going to do that because I'm going to get up and I'm going to meditate or read. Who even knows if meditation works, right? Like, or you've got all of these questions in your mind, and all of your friends and all of the dynamics and the temptations pull you back toward that. It pulls you back toward the old version of life. So this Lonely Chapter is a period through which I think everybody needs to squeeze. Anybody that decides to go from a place they are to a place that they want to be is going to have to let go of people who can't go there with them. And this isn't a value judgment about the people that are doing the personal growth thing are better than the people that are already fine as they are and are happy leading a different sort of life. It's that if you know that there is something that you're meant to do, if you know that there's something that you're meant to change, you will have to let certain groups, friends, routines, places, activities, recreations that you do, you're going to have to let those go. And there is this the Rocky cutscene lasts for 90 seconds in the movie, but it can last for 5 years in your life. And you have no idea whether or not it's even going to work. And that's the bit that always got to me. The bit that always got to me was I didn't even know if there was going to be any glory on the other side. It's like ordering an Uber and never knowing if it's going to arrive on you. You think, well, I'm just stood here doing the thing, but I don't know if it's going to come out on the other side. And I can promise you, anybody that has done anything, moved from any place they were to any place that they want to be, has gone through this lonely chapter. And I think about personal growth like the velocity of a rocket that's taking off. So you've got people moving, and as you start to take off, you can begin to move a little bit more quickly. And as you start to pull away from people, there's a tension between the two of you, because sometimes your behavior, especially if it's positive and you're moving yourself in a more developed direction, can throw into harsh contrast the behavior of the people who maybe aren't doing that. And then you start to sort of become friends with someone that's above you. And then the worst, or one of the really difficult sensations, is if you then do that and you go past somebody who previously you were with, and there's this sort of sense, well, I'm on the journey too, but maybe I'm not moving in the same kind of way that you are. And I came up with this idea of personal growth guilt, like survivor guilt. Somebody comes back from war and they were sat in the back of the Humvee, and the piece of shrapnel that was supposed to kill them and killed all of their buddies hit the engine block, and they come back and they feel like they should still be back there, but they're not. And it's almost the same with the personal growth stuff, that I feel like I'm almost sort of betraying this older version of me, this past version of my life, that I should be there. And there's this scene in The Matrix that Alex talks about where Neo doesn't know if he wants to move forward. He doesn't know if he wants to take the journey that he's called to. And he opens the door and Trinity says, "You've already been down that road, Neo. You know where it takes you, and you know that's not where you want to go back to." And I think about that. I think about that a lot, that lonely chapter.
What do I think is productive that isn't? Calls, Slack and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Staying in on weekends, sitting at my desk when I'm not working. What is productive that I don't realize? Dinners with new people, attending events, travel, reading.
Personal observation. You get absolutely better returns at the top ends of achievement, because oftentimes assets pool to the winners. The problem is, to achieve the highest levels, you have to give up proportional amounts of the things you hoped the achievements would get you. There comes a time when the hard work you have to do is learning that you can't work any harder any longer, and that you have to change what got you here to what will get you to where you want to go. You can work to get anything you want, but you have to sacrifice the other things you want to keep it. And that's sometimes harder than the work.
You want to do this because you think that it's good for you, because you believe that it's good for you, because you care about yourself. They want to have good outcomes from the things that they do in life. You don't need to lambast yourself because you don't do a thing that is perfectly designed to make you feel good. Okay, like you missed 3 days in a row. We get back on the horse, we go again. Discipline.
And discipline's good too. But without a clear headspace, there's no discipline.
What do you mean?
So let's say we have a circuit breaker, okay? And I'm loading everything up to one circuit, just loading it up. It's gonna blow. And once that thing blows, man, the circuit's all up. You gotta have each thing plugged into the right spot, like a crowded garage. You can't put anything in it. Once your brain is crowded, discipline is great, motivation is great. But if you can't fit in your brain because it's all cluttered with there's no discipline. You may have it sometimes when it fits in that crowded garage of your mind, but you don't have the consistency that you need to have with that discipline. The motivation when people are losing, all these people who come out here and talk about how great they are, and I see it all the time, it makes me sick, man. Get real with yourself. People cannot relate to you, man. You are unrelatable. When you come out here and say, "Hey, man, I'm the baddest motherfucker to ever live." Okay, great. Well, what am I gonna learn from you? You learn from people who are willing to tell you, this is where I started from. This is how much I fell on my ass. This is how bad I used to really be. I still have those moments because why? You're human. We're all jacked up, man. We're all jacked up. And that's what makes my story relatable. I'm willing to let you in to see I'm decently successful now. But I didn't come out like this, man. I didn't come out. That's the story. is you have to give people just a little bit of hope. There's no hope when they just see greatness in you everywhere. You have to be able to get yourself down to a level of check it out, man. There's hope for you. That's all I'm trying to give you. Just a little bit.
Believe in yourself beyond, without a doubt. Believe in yourself and don't rely on anybody to believe in you. Don't rely on anybody to push you or make you better. Believe in yourself and only yourself, and allow that human being to make you a better person. Greatness is whatever the hell you dreamed of in your own mind. You gotta first see it. You gotta first create this vision in your mind, and then that's when I come into play. Once you create this vision in your mind, it's how am I gonna get there now? And that's when I come into play. But first you gotta create your own vision. And then it's not external. It's the vision created is inside of you. So until you create that, I'm nobody to you. You have to learn, what do you want in your life? We have so much influence coming at us that we are so lost. We don't know what we want to do because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. You have to learn to shut off a phone, shut off a computer, shut off a TV. And it's okay to sit in a room by yourself in a chair and just think about you, where I want to be, where do I see myself tomorrow, the next year from that. And it takes a lot of self-discipline to be able to do that nowadays, because you want to be so attached to everything. You want to be so caught up with the world. The world's moving too fast. The world's moving so fast that you're trying to keep up to the point where you lose yourself in the world. So you have to take that time and go to that dark place in your mind and discover who you are. My biggest advice to give everybody in the world is, like I say, we live in an external world. Everything is you got to see it, touch it, it's external. If you can, for the rest of your life, live inside of yourself. Stop listening to people who are calling you fat. Everything that is makes no sense. All these insecure people putting their insecurities on you, you gotta flush it out. You gotta just be whoever the hell God or whatever the hell you believe in. If you believe in nothing but yourself, I don't care what it is. You gotta take everything and throw it away. You have to believe in one thing, and that is yourself.
Well, I believe that you have to build belief. Belief is like, there's an after school special belief where the mom says, believe in yourself, and that's all great. But there's also a built belief. And the built belief is one where you are constantly, like for me, I came from a bad place. How I build belief is through the daunting tasks I put myself through. So that's proof positive that I can. So it correlates. And that's how this piece of kid I once thought I was built belief by saying, I was in 3 hell weeks. I went to Ranger School. I tried out for Delta Selection.
Undeniable stack of proof.
That is proof. So whenever you think you can't, the confidence comes from the thing that you built. You must build belief. You must build confidence. It can't be like, hey, I'm gonna go knock that shit out. You gotta look over here and say, I can knock it out. It's belief, and it's built on what you put in to yourself. When you figure this out on your own, the amount of pride and dignity and self-respect you have, that's why I walk around the streets with a backpack and just like, I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
You figure it out by going inside yourself, by callousing over the victim's mentality. You're always a victim. Even if you have everything in life, until you realize what you've achieved. You have to first realize what you've achieved. You have to want it. You have to want to be a stronger version of yourself. I can't give you that. That's something that you have to want. You have to have a desire and a hunger and a dog in you that wants to become a stronger human being. Once you change one thing, your mindset, you can attack everything. And I find it fascinating. I'm fascinated because I'll be in these moments. I put these guys on some pedestal.
Yeah. Which people do with you.
They do with me, and they shouldn't. And I was this guy who was a piece of shit looking at these, oh my God, how are you guys this amazing? But once I worked my way up there, I said, my God, man, we can all compete. Let's go. So do I like suffering? I like suffering in the way that is competitive,
Yep.
that brings out the absolute best in me and in everybody else. So like I want to see a man be defeated. I want to see a man get broken and say, F you. I love these men. These men I love, but there's very few of them. There's very few of them. And there's very few that are willing to go there more than once. A lot of people, even people who've gone through special ops, it kicks out of them to a point where in their mind, what got me bad in pararescue was when I was going through it, I said, I'm only gonna do this one time. And so many people in special ops, whether they believe it or not, in anything, special ops in anything, that's hard, I'm only doing this one time. Once you say that, you f yourself. So you wanna be normal. So you just wanna be like everybody else that roams the world, not knowing the power that's in them, being fine with being mediocre. You wanna go back to who you were, huh, David? I'm like, f that, man.
And you have that conversation with yourself every day?
Not every day, it's those bad days.
Yeah.
It's those bad days. I see a whole bunch of people walking around out here who have no idea how talented they truly are. And I'm talking about talent, like some God-given ability. Talent that sometimes you have to hone, you have to work on, and you have to harness yourself. And they just walk around just on their phones, just clueless to how powerful they are. You are your own hero. You are your own leader. You are your own master. And that is a big one because we idolize so many people and we want to be them. We want to be someone else. And in doing that, you lose all the potential of who you are. You mimic. You be them. You are them. You become them. And you lose you. And we look up to so many people in this world who will let us down. We're humans. I'm gonna let you down. You're gonna let somebody down. If you put them on a pedestal, you then lose time when that person comes up and lets you down. You must hold yourself accountable, and being your own hero, that's what that does. You make yourself so totally accountable for who you are. You focus on you and only on you to become the best person you could be for others. Because we leave a lot on the table, not searching who we are. And then therefore, you die not knowing your greatest potential. I'm a very passionate man. And so I'm not giving everybody that shit. A lot of people don't deserve what I have created. And basically, you have to earn that for me. And there's very few people who've earned that for me. And we all have to earn our way in life. But I'm very big. I mean, my whole life is about taking care of those people. And there's very few of them. There's very, very few of them. But I'm all about my family, which is very small now. Pretty much is my mom and whoever else is in that is in that wheelhouse. It could be my girlfriend, but it's just very few people that are in that small circle of mine, and that belong there.
It was the day Coach said to me, "This is why I've been trying to train you, because I wanted you to be the best father you could be."
Yeah.
And so you're missing classes, you miss some lessons. Your son is here now. He needs the best version of you.
Wow.
We can't repeat the mistakes of the past. And so I need you to hurry up. And so when Jalen was born, from that day forward, I remember when he was born, I held him. And it was kind of like he looked at me like, "You the person that's gonna take care of me?"
Wow.
And that was the day. And this is what a lot of you are running from. It's the R word. And I get it because it's tough. Responsibility.
Ooh.
That was the day where it's like, you gotta be responsible for somebody else.
Yeah.
You cannot. Y'all on TikTok, y'all blew TikTok up. And I knew it because adults are on LinkedIn and LinkedIn
Instagram.
LinkedIn made no money. TikTok, billionaire. Instagram, why? Because these young people are there. I said, when you show up to anything, it blows up. Here's my problem. You're in the school and you're failing. Why? Because you're waiting for the teacher to teach you. The teacher didn't teach you TikTok. The teacher didn't teach you how to play
YouTube or Call of Duty.
They didn't teach you how to do that. You did it on your own. Why? Because you wanted to do it. And anything you activate, anything you do for you, it's gonna blow out. But you're waiting for some teacher to teach you when you can pick up a book. That's the je ne sais quoi, that my daddy wasn't there. That's the it factor. If my father had been there, I might not be able to go in here and relate, or my videos and go viral. People are like, okay, maybe if I just had Eric's voice, or if I just scream and I just look passionate. Bro, that's not what it is. It's when I speak, you hear it because I've been through what you've been through.
Wow.
And so you recognize that voice, you recognize the pain, you recognize the struggle. And we don't realize we are a community. Right? And look, I'm not trying to be deep. People could, you believe this, you don't believe in this. But what I was taught, in school, especially Catholic school, it seemed like Adam was by himself first. It doesn't seem like it was like somebody else. It was like Adam was first, and then whatever happened after that. So the first man was by himself. And I think that's important for those of us who study that. Why? Because all of us think we have to have somebody to be somebody.